Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Superman Emperor Joker, the Deluxe Edition hardcover from DC Comics. So, let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. So what we're looking at here is the standard edition cover of the most recent deluxe edition of Superman, Emperor Joker. On the left-hand side is your direct market cover. That one is only available at places like cheapgraphicnovels.com, waltzcomicshop.com, bdcosmos.com, Dying Breed Collectors, Organic Price Books, readcomics.com, comicsbugle.com, In Stock Trades, Tales of Wonder, and DCBS. And, of course, your local comic book store. While the one on the right-hand side, the standard edition, is available everywhere. So everything underneath the dust jacket is the same. Let's check out what we're looking at here. This has previously been released, of course, in single issues, but two different printings of trade paperbacks. The first printing, which captured just the bare bones and even not the whole thing. And then the most recent printing that came out a few years back, this one here has 244 pages. But the deluxe edition, so it is deluxe size, meaning that it is the size of a omnibus, has 286 pages. And that's mainly the extras, which we'll be looking at here in a little bit. But first, let's take a closer look at this. I've always loved this cover by Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness, of course, supplying both of the covers. And it's like a playing card, right? Which you're going to see a few of the covers in here like that. Superman Emperor Joker, the deluxe edition. Loeb, McGuinness, Kelly, and Mankey, and the DC logo down there. And All Hell Emperor Joker. The retail price of this book being $49.99. And I'll talk about what's collected in here in a little bit. Underneath the dust jacket, I absolutely love that. This pattern that is all around the book. There we go, so you can get a better idea as to the pattern here. Now, if you're wondering about the reading order of Superman, hey, I've already done that for you. So click on the link above if you want to check out the reading order of Superman and when this takes place. But just in case, if you have City of Tomorrow, Volumes 1 and 2, this goes afterwards. It was never collected in the City of Tomorrow Big Fat Trades. I wish they would have, but they never did. All right, we're going to crack this book open. Talk about the story collected in here. I'm going to give you the pitch without going into the hows and the whys and any big spoilers, but show off mainly the artwork. And I'll let you know if I don't think I'm going to be talking about spoilers in this one. This will go pretty quick. And then, of course, we're going to look at that artwork in the back and take a look at the binding. All right, let's go ahead and crack this book open. The end sheets here have the same pattern, except it's like the negative of the pattern that's on the actual art on board. There's that pattern again, or actually a more detailed pattern there. Superman Emperor Joker, the Deluxe Edition. And here are your main creators: Jeff Loeb, James DeMatteis, Mark Schultz, and Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness, Mike S. Miller, Doug Mankey, Kano, and Duncan Rolero. These are the main artists through here, but there are a couple of other artists that help out, like Scott McDaniel and Todd Knock and Cadro Barberi. And Cam Smith, Jose Marzan Jr., and Tom Wynn, those are your main inkers there. And Tanya and Richard Horry and the Wildstorm FX are the main colors. Your letters, of course, Richard Starkings, who has lettered just about every character at Marvel and DC and Independent Comics. This edition does come with a brand new introduction by Jeff Loeb, talking about how this story was pitched, what exactly is Emperor Joker, who came up with what concept. And I will say, if you've never read it, skip the introduction because it goes into a little bit of spoiler territory as to how things get resolved, even though it doesn't tell you. I hate for anybody to just get spoiled on it if you haven't read it. I love that the covers are flipped, especially these playing card covers. You have Bizarro on top now and Superman down here. And these covers are all provided by Ed McGuinness. Now, before we talk about the story, for the people that are just interested in what's collected in here, and then they can jump to the extras, this collects Superman 160 to 161, Adventures of Superman 582 to 583, Superman Man of Steel 104 to 105, Action Comics 769 to 770, and then the Superman Emperor Joker one shot, 296 pages, $49.99. All right. Just in case, minor spoilers. What the hell is Emperor Joker? If Joker is Batman's ultimate nemesis, his final boss, the opposite of Batman, the yang to his yin, what is he doing with Superman? Why would he be included in a Superman book? And the introduction explains a little bit about that. Oh, the mad world. Look at the lettering. Man. Richard Starkins, dude. Guy is a master. Alright, so it starts off with a very confusing story here, but I like when you're thrown into the middle of stories like that. It's in the way that Age of Apocalypse started, where the world is different. Nothing is the same. There are no hints as to what's happened. Superman just wakes up, and he is being kept captive. He's held by chains. He breaks out of what appears to be Arkham Asylum, and the world, the JLA headquarters on the moon, sends out the world's greatest character, or their superhero, and that is Bizarro #1. That's right, Bizarro is this world's Superman. Wanted for murder, Superman, aka the man who steals. Nice little play on words there. Contact the JLA. So the first story arc is this big fight between Superman and Bizarro, and that is mainly using Bizarro because Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness just love Bizarro. If you don't believe me, go and check out the Batman Superman comic that they did together. And so, yes, this is not the first time they've worked together. They've worked on several projects, including the Batman Superman run and also the Red Hulk run for Marvel Comics. So Bizarro's trying to get Superman back into prison. Superman doesn't know what he's doing there. All he knows is he believes he's a good guy. So during this fight, he crash lands in Lane Corp, and there she is, Lois Lane. He doesn't remember her. She doesn't remember him, but they both look at each other with a slight hint of, I know you from somewhere. And he's like, Lois, and she's like, Clark, no, wait, get out of here. So she sends her dogs after her. Bizarro ends up by the way, Jimmy Olsen is a huge fan of Bizarro #1 in this. And Bizarro ends up fighting him again, only to take him back to prison, to Arkham Asylum. You see versions of our Justice League, but they're not the Justice League anymore. For example, this is Aquaman, who hates water and is, for some reason, donning a fish for a head. And then you get to find out a little bit more about these characters that are living in this world. Lois Lane is actually just wearing a wig. Superman, again, apparently tries to break out every day and ends up going back to Arkham by the end. I love the flipped covers here, and we're going to find out who some of these characters are here in a little bit. So, how does this happen? Well, you can, by the time you get to the 4th issue of this particular storyline, this 4th part, you can start putting 2 and 2 together. There are some twists and turns as to how exactly it happened, how Joker got this ability to just reshape his world in his image. And I mean his image. And it's funny because I just finished reading the Death Metal crossover a couple of weeks ago, where you see the Batman logo as the world. Well, in here it's kind of like Joker's head as the world. I'll show you the picture if it doesn't spoil anything else. This is the JLA right here. You have characters like Ignition, you have Bounty, you have Gorgeous Gilly, you have Poison Ivy, and Scorch, who was on the cover, and a couple of other characters that are like Enigma. They are now this particular world's superheroes, and they are fighting all kinds of different types of problems than our Justice League than what we're used to. I'm going to skip a little bit through here. But what ends up happening is that Superman does remember something. Like, he remembers being good. He doesn't remember, like, why he's being held responsible for murder. And apparently the person that he's supposed to have murdered is Lex Luthor. And he doesn't remember Lex Luthor, so he's having a problem with that. He doesn't remember who Lex Luthor is, why he got arrested. It just doesn't make any sense. And he ends up meeting this gentleman right here named Aaron Irons. And this guy speaks in mathematical equations, and Superman's able to talk to him. And together they figure out, wait a minute, something's not right. Something is broken in the world. I do love this character of Gorgeous Gilly, how she seduces men. And together, both of them are like, we got to set this world right. Something is wrong here. So it's kind of like your Bishop character in the Age of Apocalypse. People do remember. But unlike Age of Apocalypse that had the Legion Quest storyline that sets it up, why the world got broken, everything you need to know about this is told through this particular event, this big crossover that they had through Superman titles. And there's nothing that predates it, nothing sets it up. It just immediately, you're reading one issue of Superman, and then the next issue he's waking up in a prison. I'm gonna skip a little bit through here. This is the Emperor Joker one shot because I did want to show actual Emperor Joker. You saw him on the cover, and he doesn't really make an appearance here until you get to about the fourth chapter. By the way, if you're confused about Supergirl in this particular book, this is Matrix Supergirl. This is before the relaunch of the Batman and Superman by Jeff Loeb and, well, that was Michael Turner at the time. So it is a different character. This is the character of Linda, who's an alien. That is Connor Kent, not to be confused with Jonathan Kent, Superboy, but this was Superboy in the 90s and the early aughts. This is the bride, what is it, the bride waiting or something like that? Is what he calls her, Enigma, and then he has his own jester. But yes, in this world, Joker can manipulate reality. Joker can make his own universe. And like I mentioned, there's a couple of twists and turns as to why he's doing it, and then if the good guys, it's ridiculous to say that, when the good guys figure out how to defeat them, how he's defeated. I did want to come back to this picture, make sure there's no spoilers, but this is how the world has been reimagined because of the Joker. Now, speaking of the Joker, there is something really unique and interesting that the writers decide to do in this particular story that I'm surprised it hasn't been done before, and it's the way that the Joker thinks, and I don't want to spoil it, but it does have something to do with the way that he can manipulate reality and a decision that is made. I actually like this story a lot, and I didn't realize it was so divisive until I came to the internet, of course. I had quit collecting comics during this time when it was coming out. I came back to comics, and I ended up getting the old trade paperback, and I enjoyed the story because I like when characters are taken out of their element, or whenever we see them in a new light, or a new universe, if you will. But yeah, there are people that didn't dig it, and I get it. But I like there's comics within comics. There's like little comic strips in here. This explains what happened to our Justice League, how each of them have changed. Like Plastic Man, like he's just a guy that steals credit cards. Martian Manhunter is more like the Marty the Martian, and Wonder Woman is just a housewife, and of course, there's Aquaman, the Green Lantern. Now, if you're wondering if the world ever gets turned back, well, of course it does. This is only just the event, and the heroes start to remember who they are. Now, the other question you're probably going to have, and I completely understand, but I'm not going to say yes or no. Does Batman show up in here? If the Joker's able to recreate the universe the way that he wants, where's Batman? Well, all I can say is read the book. Okay, let's take a look at the extras in the back. So the extras right here, you have the Codex Comic Con by Professor Bizarro. This is all written by Joe Kelly, by the way, in 2007. And what you have here is original artwork. It's mainly a lot of Ed McGuinness stuff through here. The covers, and then the internal pages, the spread pages, and then the individual panels right here. So I hope you're a fan of at least the very first issue that's in here, because that's what mainly makes up the extras through here. And then a couple of concept sketches. This is what I was hoping to see a lot more of. I got excited when I saw the extra 40 pages added to here, but it turns out that it's just really the issue number 1 and just 2 pages from another issue. This is the direct market cover, and there is, you know how Marvel sometimes puts the direct market cover if it's different than the standard edition cover, like especially if it's new on the back. That's not what you get here. You do get the sketch and the inks, but not the final cover. So the only way to get that cover is if you get the direct market version of this book. Bio on the creators, and again, your end sheets. Let's take a look at the binding. 296 pages. It is sewn binding, but we have that excess glue that the DC puts in their deluxe hardcovers. It is printed in this thick, glossy paper, so it's a little thicker than what they've been using in their Omnis. But that, as they say... Actually, no, that's not what they say is that. I wanted to go back and see about this to show what a spread page looked like. So you do get some minor gutter loss going on, just to kind of give you a heads up and be more thorough with the overview. Now that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this deluxe edition, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this deluxe edition. Let me know in the comments down below if you picked it up, which cover you ended up getting. If you have any questions, leave your questions down below. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. And what other Superman stories you would love to see in a deluxe hardcover or omnibus format. Or the Joker. What Joker stories going sane would be so awesome to be collected in a deluxe edition. But anyway, that's it for me. Check us out on Patreon and Spreadshop. The description of the video has those links. And a big thank you to our existing patrons. Cannot be doing this without you all. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.